Hi, I'm Michael from Komi Go. In this video, I will talk about the Chinese counting. I will cover the basics too, but I want to go deeper into this topic. I am not trying to demonstrate how to do a Chinese counting, but trying to explain it. So unless you are very familiarized with the Chinese counting, otherwise you will learn something new. Chinese counting is also as known as the area or stone scoring, which we not only used in China, but also in the AGA rule, which is the American Go Association rules. I don't know how popular is the Chinese counting in the English Go community, because I know Japanese and Korean have great influence to the English Go community, and they use the territory scoring. But anyway, let's learn about how Chinese counting works. Let's take a look at the translation of the Rules of Weiqi 2002 from China. This is the Rules of Weiqi 2002 published in China, and this is the translation. Let's see. When a game is completed, the winner is determined by the method of stone counting. After all the stones are removed from the board, count either of the two players' living stones plus all unoccupied intersections which are surrounded by those living stones, which means the territories. So basically, it's the living stones plus territories. The unoccupied intersections between both players' living stones are divided by 2, and each player is credited with half. What here means is the seki. Let's see. There is a seki. There is a intersection point that's unoccupied. So this point would be divided into 2 and credited to both players. So black will get 0.5 points or 0.5 stones at this point. Then let's continue. Half of the total intersections of the entire board is 180.5. In a 19 times 19 board, the total of intersections is 361, and half of it is the 180.5. This will be the basic number. If one player's counter points are more than the basic number, then the player will be the winner. If the counter point is equal to the 180.5 points, the game is a tie. If the counter points are less than 180.5, then that player is the loser. We will discuss the compensation, which means the Komi later. If the tournament uses compensation, then a different rule will be set to determine winning or losing. We'll discuss this later. But we already see something interesting. Indeed, in the Chinese rule we use now, if there is no Komi, no compensation, there still won't be a tie in most of the game. Because when we don't have Komi in the Japanese rule or the Korean rule, we can have the same amount of territories, right? But this will not be happen unless there is a seki. Otherwise, no one could get half points unless there is a seki. That means either we have 181 points that we could win for 0.5 points, or we only have 180 points, then we will lose the game. Unless there is a seki here, then provided 0.5 points, then we will have a tie. This already different from the Japanese and the Korean counting, because in Japanese or Korean counting, if we have the same amount of territories, then it is a tie. But this would not be happen in the Chinese counting. Then let's see some example of Chinese counting. In this example, we can see there are 44 stones or 44 points for black when we count the living stones plus the territories. Let's see how many points did black win. The board is a 9 times 9 board. That means there are 81 points on the board. The basic number will be half, which is the 40.5 points. When black has 44 points, black wins by 44 minus 40.5 points. That means 3.5 points. Right? Let's continue. There are some dead stones in the black territories now, and there are some other black stones here now. Would it affect the result? Actually, no. Because in the Chinese counting, we just count all the territories and the living stones, and this result is totally same as this result. They are totally the same. So, let's see an example when will there be a tie. Here, black has 40 points, including the living stones plus the territories. There is a seki here. This is an unoccupied intersection. Both white or black could not play it, otherwise they would be captured. So this point is unoccupied and this point will be separated into two and shared to both sides. So black has now 40.5 points, which is a tie. Similar to the 19 x 19 board. Even if there is no Komi, there would not be a tie unless there is a seki. We already see some difference between the stone counting and the territory counting, but we generally think they provide the same result. Because in most of the cases, they look the same. Let's see. In the stone counting, we are comparing the black living stones plus territories to white living stones plus territories. In the territory counting, we are comparing black territories minus black dead stones to white territories minus white dead stones. They look similar. The only difference is that one count the living stones, one count the dead stones. If black and white share the same amount of played stones, then the result would be the same. So in most cases, we think Chinese rule and the Japanese rule do not have a big difference. But we will see later why there are some differences. But before that, let's explain why we only need to do a half counting in the Chinese rule. What means half counting? That means when we use the Chinese counting, we only either count the black or count the white. This is different from the territory counting. When we do the territory counting, we need to count both black stones and both white stones, and we need to deduct their difference. But in Chinese rule, we only need to count one side, because as all the dame are filled, unless there are seki, black points plus white points equals to the number points on the board, which would be 361 in the big board. So actually we don't need to count both sides. When we count either one, we already know the another one. Let's see the example. We have just said that now black has 44 points and black wins by 3.5 points. If we count white, white will have 81 minus 44, which is 37 points. So white lost 40.5 minus 37 equals to 3.5 points. White lost 3.5 points. So it's the same as what we have counted for the black. Let's get into the next topic, Komi, or the compensation. In official competition, we use the compensation system. When the game is finished, black subtracts 3.75 stones from his total count. For example, if black's total count is 185, then black wins by 0.75 stone. Why? Because 185 minus 3.75 equals to 181.25 points. Then if we deduct this number to 180.5 points, then black will win by 0.75 points. If black has only 184 points, then black loses by 0.25 stones. So, most players that use Chinese counting know black need 185 stones to win. And for white need 177 stones. Because alternatively, if white's total count is 177, then white wins by 0.25 stone. If white has only 176 stones, then white would lose by 0.75 stone. We can also do the math. When black has 185 stones, which black will win? White only has 176. If black has only 184 stones, which white wins, then white has 177. To explain the Komi, let's use the small board again. Now, black has 44 points. Let's assume the Komi is the same, the 3.75 points or stones. Then after subtract this number, black only has 40.25 points. As the basic number is 40.5 points, black will lose by 0.25 points. And alternatively, white wins by 0.25 points. But now let's think a bit. Why the Komi is 3.75 points, not 4 points? Let's think, because if the Komi is 4, then after 180.5 plus 4, which will be 184.5. So the result is same. When black has 185, black will win. If black only has 184, black loses. So it seems to be the same when the Komi is 4. So why we need a strange number 3.75? There is a reason. That is the seki we have just mentioned. The seki would provide 0.5 stones. If there is a seki, and it is possible for black to have 140.5 points, that black could get a tie. And in the modern rule, we don't have a tie for Go game. It's actually quite sad. Let's use the small board as an example. In this example, we can see black has 44 stones. When black has 0.5 stones more, then black will win by 0.25 points. As black has 44.5 points now, after subtracting 3.75 points, it will be 40.75 points, which is larger than the 40.5 points, which is the basic number. So black will win by 0.25 points. In the modern rule, if there is a seki and black has 184.5 points, then black will win. I think most Chinese rules players don't know this. When we ignore the seki and just count the board, when we see 184, we would assume black has lost already. But if there is a seki, then this 0.5 points will indeed make black wins. To the next topic. We often think 1 stone equals to 2 moku. Why? Because we said in Chinese rule the Komi is 7.5 points, which actually is not accurate because it should be 3.75 stones, but not 7.5 moku or territory points. But we usually said that because we generally think 1 stone equals to 2 moku or the territory points. Why we think that? Let's see an example. In this example, there are 185 black stones, including the territory points. So white has 361 minus 185, which will be the 176. 185 minus 176 will be 9. But if black has one stone more, then white will only have 175 stones, and their difference become 11. In territory counting, we will count the difference of black and white, and we can see there are difference of 11 points when black has 186 stones, but there are only difference in 9 points when black has only 185 stones. So 1 stone more become 2 points difference. That's why we said 1 stone equal to 2 moku. But we also see one problem. Could you spot it? This number is strange. We often said the Komi for Chinese rule is 7.5, which when black leads by 8 points, black should win the game. Why, when there are 185 stones, black will indeed have 9 more stones than white? Why? What have happened? Not black only need 8 stones to win, why there would be 9 stones? That's actually also a mathematical problem. The stone counting seems to have the same result as the territory counting, until we figure out that when one side leading an even number of territory points in the territory counting, it is not possible for them to have a same difference in the stone counting, because the total points of a board is an odd number, while black living stones plus territories plus white living stones plus territories should also be an odd number. Then this difference could not be an even number. That's a mathematical problem. So let's see what actually will happen if the difference in territory is an even number. Black lead 7 points, right? Because both of them have 3 nines of territories, but black has 7 points more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then black now has 44 points, while white only has 37 points. Black also lead by 7 stones. It's the same. But let's see this. This time, black only lead by 6 points, but black still has 44 stones. So what happened? Let's see. The last stone is played by black when black leading an even number of points on the board. Now if black lead by an odd number of points, white play the last stone. When the difference of territory points is an even number, black will play the last stone, which means black indeed play 1 more living stones on the board than the white side. But this will not happen if black leave an odd number points of territories. So, in general cases, that means if there is no any dame call fight or seki, then when black leading by 6 territory points, black will play the last. It will be 184 stones. When black leading by 7 territory points, white will play last. It will also be 184 stones. So either black leading by 6 or 7 territory points, black will lose in general cases. But if black leaded by 8 territory points, then black will play last and have 185 stones. So black will win by having 8 territory points. However, it is also possible that when black only lead by 7 points, black could still try to get 185 stones. In Chinese or in Cantonese, we call that 黏劫收後. I really tried to find the term for it in English. I could not find it. I find some article explaining this, but I don't find the exact term, and I will translate it to the 打咩 call fight, which means black forced white to pass one move to finish a half-point call, which result blacks to have one more living stones on the board. I will explain it in the next video, so I will finish the video here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new about Chinese counting. Thank you.